So I was talking to Vinny this weekend, and he said if we send him our address, he'll send us an autographed 8x10, and we can hang it right there on that whiteboard.
I will hang that in my studio.
We need to make that happen.
Well, the thing is, the glory of my studio is that it is a giant pinboard.
Yeah, you can literally hang something anywhere.
Yeah.
Does that affect the sonicness of your studio?
I'm going to say it probably does, but I don't care.
It's fair.
We all still are going to sound like crap.
No, we sound awesome.
Yeah, we're all right.
I sound great.
Yeah.
That's Dylan. I'm Adam West.
And I'm Cliff Johnson.
Hello. Welcome to the Byte Me Podcast, episode 28.
Dang.
If I was Adam, I'd be Adam East.
Actually, right now, you're actually Adam South.
Well, that's Adam...
Right?
Hang on.
I don't know.
No, let's... Anyway,
welcome. Welcome to our show.
It's all like this. Sorry.
It's real high quality.
All quality all the time on the Byte Me podcast.
Yes, and we are going to talk about all kinds of stuff again this week that all has to do with the video games.
Mostly video games.
The video games
podcast.
Right. Of course, we'll talk about what we played and the new Netflix for games via Xbox and Microsoft Xbox Game Pass, which I'm telling you, this is the thing that's making me think about going Xbox.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's the future.
I actually want to have a test with you. We'll get you an Xbox, and you're only allowed to have Game Pass and games with gold. You can't buy any other games.
Okay.
And see how that goes for X amount of time to see being someone who's doesn't have this.
I need you to go ahead and buy me that Xbox.
Yeah, if you just want to drop that $300,
that would be
I'm sure he'll take that test for you.
Done.
I'll figure it out.
Far Cry 5 trailer. Awesome.
All right.
Love it, but some people don't.
No.
A lot of people don't.
A lot of people don't.
We'll talk about that. And PlayStation 3 is officially kind of done.
If we were a morning show, there could be like some sort of like, we don't need it. We've got Adam.
There you go.
What instrument is that?
Sad trombone.
Oh, yeah, it's a trombone.
One of the people that works for our company actually owns that sad trombone like website where you can go and push the button and it plays the sad trombone. He's a developer in Minneapolis. We were literally at a conference. He's like, no, I own that. We're like, you do not. He's like, no, look, I do. I'm like, apparently he does.
So a developer, that's he just was like, I'm going to do the sad trombone noise on a website.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And then also one of the big games that came out last week that I was excited about and I still haven't dived into it is the Friday the 13th game, which looks interesting, and we'll talk about what exactly is going on with that because a lot of good, a lot of bad.
Yeah, that really sums it up.
Yeah, a lot of good and a lot of bad.
Yeah.
So we'll cover some of that. And, of course, questions from Vinny, Kevin, Colby, and we'll talk about the sheep free stuff that's out and about, and a troll corner that we didn't have last week. Did not have a troll corner last week.
Really?
Really?
Maybe it was just a good week.
Like
a good week is a week with no troll corner.
We went hard.
Yeah.
We did. We went ham, but we didn't have a troll corner.
That's all right.
That's fine. Yeah. So, anyway, we start off every week with what we're playing. So, Cliff, what you playing?
I'm drinking. Not
coffee.
It's coffee.
It's coffee. It's freshly brewed.
This is an at work podcast.
Speaking of drinking, before we even get started, did you see the thing that I just posted on on my Facebook page to tag Kevin in, because Kevin drinks the delicious tequila when we go out and about. Tequila is evidently linked to weight loss, study claims.
I am in. I don't like tequila that much, but I'm willing to.
If you drink enough, you'll barf and then you lose water weight.
That's what everybody says. They'll be like, you'll barf, you won't want to eat for 2 days, i.e. weight loss. But evidently there's something about the way that the sugars, they're called agavins, not agave whatever, but they're called agavins. The body doesn't digest them or metabolize them like sugar, like other sugars and other alcohol. Your body treats it as a fiber.
Interesting. I'm just going to drink tequila and eat dark chocolate. Everybody wins.
That sounds like a good idea. But if you get sick off of tequila after drinking dark chocolate, that's going to look really scary to whoever finds you.
That's not good.
Anyway, back to what we're actually playing.
Things I played this week. So it was funny. For a long weekend, I didn't play a ton of stuff except Destiny. God, I played Destiny. I probably played 12 hours of Destiny, 14 hours of Destiny.
God.
It was. I'm almost level 40 now. It was real good. So yeah, me and my brother just played a ton of Destiny. It was so fun. That game is amazing. I cannot wait for Destiny 2. I'm enjoying every second of Destiny, though. We're pretty much all the way through the story, and now it's just going to be strikes and raids and so on and so forth.
Did you guys do a raid?
I've not done a raid yet. No, I think he may have. No, because like
without you?
There's no matchmaking though in raids, so like you just have to like find folk, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe.
I mean, you can create a party.
Yeah.
And do that.
Yeah. So I don't think he has either now because there's just the two of us. We're gonna have to find 4 other people on Xbox to raid with us.
I never did a raid. I watched Kevin and some friends do a raid, and I was all.
Yeah, looks fun.
Whoa, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a cool part of Destiny 2 is that kind of new enhanced raid mechanic where you can join up with a clan and do those. So, but the Division, Destiny is just so good. We played a little bit of the Division 2, and Division's a great game. We bounced off of it kind of hard, like on Saturday or Sunday. Just like, I don't know, like I love that game, but it's complicated, and some of the missions are really, really hard. And it's kind of hard to like, I don't think there's enough story missions to level you up to keep with them because like we're both like level 10 or 11 and like we're having a hard time finding missions that are in that same area, but I think we may have figured out part of it too is that we there was a couple safe houses we didn't open up, and so we may have missed those the missions around those, so we still really like it. We bounced off of it kind of hard, but Adam and I actually played the Division along with my brother on Friday night, which was interesting just because Adam's a level 30.
I'm 30, level 30, yeah.
And we're like
11. You were 11 or 12.
11 and 12.
Yeah.
And in which case that means that the Division spawns level 25 bad guys.
I guess it was weird because I saw level 9 bad guys.
Yeah.
And then all the missions that we tried to go to, it said level 25.
And all the guys we ran into the streets were level 25.
Yeah, but it was real weird.
Yeah,
and so I've never seen that happen.
In case you're wondering what the difference between a level 11 and a level 25 is if a bullet from them hits you, you die. And so we'd like stay way back in the back, and Adam would run up and be all badass and kill people, and then we'd both be dead, and he'd run back and heal both of us, and we'd be alive for another 30 seconds while he went forward and did all sorts of badass stuff, and then we'd die again, he'd run back. It was really just kind of a loop of that. It was a lot of fun, though.
It was a lot of fun. Me screaming in the background, oh my God, what is it? I don't know.
It is actually very similar to that. It actually makes the game about 15 times more enjoyable. So we're going to keep working on that, or maybe the Division 2
I'm dying to know what your brother thought of playing with me because I don't.
He likes you. You're good people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking he's probably like,
now
can we not play with this guy
listens
anymore?
to the podcast. He knows who you are.
Okay.
Let's cut this guy.
It's all good. But I did that. I played some more Auction Free, and Auction Free, like, literally go buy it right now. I'm not even done with the game, and I will say literally go buy it right now because it is so good, and the narrative's so good, and that game is spooky. It is so, like I played at night, and literally it's that, and it's weird, too, because it's not scary. It's not like Resident Evil. It's not like those, jump scares, demons and, whatever. It's just spooky.
It's a creepy game.
It's creepy. It's that, like, did I just hear some weird noise? Is there something looking at me in the window? Kind of like, just, it's strange, like Twilight Zone spooky.
Okay.
That, like, you start thinking about it, you're like, what's going on here? It's so good. And I think it's like $20, but it's probably worth it. It's only like a 3 or 4 hour game, but God, I'm having so much fun with it. And then I'm still playing Mages of Australia, which is also fantastic, just in that kind of role-playing. It's kind of deep, though. It's got some puzzle-solving stuff. It's got this mechanic where you get different, like, modifiers for your spells, and so you can take a fire spell, and then you get a, like, distance modifier, so then you have a fire spell you can throw, and then you have, there's just this unlimited number of different things you can add to spells to create and craft these different spells. So
very cool.
It was just a good week. Like, I played a lot of fun games. Nothing super new, but just a bunch of games that I'm in the middle of that I'm really enjoying. Anywho, how about you, Dylan? He played the camping minigame.
Yeah, I didn't play a lot of games.
That's
this
why
weekend.
okay.
Yeah. I also played the homework minigame, which is less fun than the camping minigame.
Yeah, camping is fun. But yeah, I spent the weekend out in the wilderness.
Outside.
Outside-y.
I put 100 pounds on my back and then walked to a beach and then pitched a tent and cooked food over a campfire.
Did you run out of stamina and have to take a break like every 30 seconds?
That's how I camp.
Yeah, basically. That's actually pretty accurate. I did swing some sticks and they broke, so I picked up new sticks.
Oh, cool.
And I swung those until they broke.
So as you can see, Zelda Breath of the Wild is based in reality.
It's real life.
So.
I cannot climb everything. Either that or my stamina is very low. I don't know which one.
Probably a little of both.
We need to pray to more statues.
Probably a little. I didn't find any statues. There was a deer running across the tide, but I did not have my bow yet. So
Washington's a weird place.
It was real
we
weird.
got deer on the beaches.
And then there was a bald eagle in the tree right above us,
Nice.
just like watching, but I still don't have my bow. So we went hungry.
Well,
and there were some whales out
Really?
in the water, so
That's
that was
cool.
pretty cool. And then I guess we could have harvested a lot of tiny crabs and shellfish.
made some elixirs and stuff.
But yeah.
Really, what I'm learning is video games and real life are not in any way similar.
I mean, no.
But
really.
we did play one game on the beach. I call it competitive sandcastling.
And this idea, like, we were talking about this earlier, this is like a video game waiting to be made.
Yeah. So you build. We had 2 teams, so each team has a similar sized castle, some length from the water. That's equal length.
Yeah.
With a feather in it, and then you have until the tide gets to your castle to build walls and moats, and however you wish to deter water from knocking over your castle. And
I can see this as like a Minecraft mod. Like, I think this could really work.
yeah, I'm
really
kind of
do.
thinking like there's this inevitable force of nature that's going to push against your civilization or
I tell you,
whatever.
this is a good game that could really work in fun ways.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part about the story, though, is this is probably like the 3rd or 4th time I've heard about the castle building thing. I'm not in a negative way, just I've been around. Well, Dylan and I share an
That's really
office,
all I
so
did,
yeah,
so-
it's all he's been talking about. But
told
every
myself
time
twice.
he tells the story about, and then you put a feather in the top, but the feather never comes back into the story. Like, it's very purposeful that each castle has a feather on the top, but for no particular reason besides each castle needs a feather on the top.
Yeah, why does the castle have a feather?
So when the tide rolls in, you lose when your feather's knocked down.
Oh, okay.
So that's
But
the
he's
purpose.
never told that part of the story. I just figured, like,
Yeah,
it's all good.
at some point the tide
Takes the
crushes
feather
your
away.
walls and takes the feather away.
I love this idea, though.
I think that could play really well, like on a touchscreen,
Yeah, right?
or you could like with the motion controls in the Switch, like
Oh,
scoop
or
and
VR.
build. Oh, yes.
Yeah, VR sandcastle. Like you could build it around yourself, like igloo, and there's like an igloo DLC.
I like
You
it.
could build it with snow
Because
because microtransactions,
Right?
Because yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I like
but
it.
Our tents weren't very far from the water either at high tide, so like some people,
It almost became
there were
real
some
life.
people camping down there, and I swear they must have had like a foot from high tide to their tent. I was like, that's a little much. We had like 50, 60 feet.
Yeah.
At
You
high
still hear
tide,
the
but-
water, but
Oh, it was real loud. You couldn't sleep because high tide rolled in about 3 a.m. I think, and at that point you're awake.
that's funny. Interesting.
Anyway, there was one game I really wanted to play this weekend, but I didn't because I was camping. But I'm gonna save that
Troll Corner.
for Troll Corner.
Yeah.
On to you, Adam.
Oh, all right then.
Oh.
Well, coming on over to Adam West.
That radio voice, man.
Adam West.
So I obviously put down the wrong title in what I've been playing. I've not been playing Destiny. I've been playing The
shame.
Division.
Yeah.
They're both D's.
Yeah, but they're A pluses in my book.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we played
Wow.
The Division, and after I saved you guys a lot.
A lot.
A lot. Well, because I've got one of those, because you've got all the different mods and stuff that you can get, or the abilities
Yeah.
for your triggers, and then you get the ultimate ability for each wing once you've gotten
Yeah.
to a certain level and everything unlocked, and you push both the shoulder buttons, and the one that I've got reses any of my team that's down, or all of my team that's down, and like gives you like an
it's
extra
real
health
handy.
buff. Yeah, because they were all like, well, I died and I hit it, and they're like, well, I'm back. Oh, I'm died.
I will say the thing I hate most about that game is like, probably not the most. The thing I hate the second most about that game is that when you res your character, they come out of cover. So I don't know how many times I've been resed and then just like popped up and they headshot me again. I'm like, well, that was completely worthless. Like, I don't understand when I died, if I was behind cover and there's cover right next to me, why I don't res in cover. It's absolutely ridiculous.
How do you get res? Like, what do they use to res you? Is
You
it
just-
like a
you get over-
large
you-
adrenaline needle?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
assume.
I
So
don't
you're
know.
really peppy when you wake up and you're like, ha!
Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah,
And you just get shot again.
I find that really, really
It's
obnoxious.
like it's
though.
like Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Do I stab her 3 times? No,
No.
just once.
So when we got done playing that, I played for a little while longer and realized that I suck by myself.
That game I cannot imagine playing without.
I mean,
other
there's
people.
some things that you can do. Like you can do quick little side missions, like go here and collect this, go here and collect that. You can do that and just take care of some guys along the way.
Well, and
if
I
you
think
need to.
that's what I need to do more of in that game too. Is more of the like find this agent and find this echo and all those things. 'Cause
Yeah.
we've kind of just been going from story to story to story to story, and I think that's. I don't know if we're under leveled, but
make sure you pay attention to in Midtown, the enemies are between this level and this level,
Yeah.
so don't go through there if you're under that, or unless you're feeling especially
Happy.
froggy.
Happy.
But
a
yeah,
good game, though.
Yeah, and some of the story stuff gets fleshed out a lot more, not so much in the big overarching story, but all the individual stories that you find along the way of the things that certain people have gone through, they're really good. So I highly recommend doing that because the stories are interesting enough. It doesn't feel like it's just a go here, do this, go there, do that.
I really have enjoyed it, but I kind of wonder with Destiny 2 coming out if Destiny 2 will eat up my Division time.
Oh, Destiny 2 is probably going to become my Zelda Breath of the Wild.
God, I'm enjoying the first one so much. And by everything everyone said, it's not like, people were very disappointed with Destiny. So, and I mean, obviously, with the Taken King and stuff, it's different.
Yeah.
But it feels so good. Like, I don't know the last time I played a game that just like the gun feel, the movement feel, the point of view on the screen just feels perfect. So,
it's good.
Yeah.
Also did some Mario Kart 8.
Nice.
Went to a friend's housewarming party over the weekend, which was a lot of fun, and he asked me to bring my Joy-Cons over, so we had 4-player split screen on this 75-inch TV playing Mario Kart, and it was amazing.
That's big Mario Kart.
It's huge Mario Kart. And the controls in this game are weird. So you've got it, Dylan. Do you know that there's like a steering assist option that keeps it so you can't fall off the tracks?
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Okay, you can turn that off.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Is that good?
Yes, because it's really difficult for you to go through shortcuts and stuff with that on.
Except it makes Rainbow Road really easy.
Yeah, it made everything really easy, even though I still couldn't get first place.
It's like playing, like going bowling when you have the bumpers on.
Exactly. Duck bowling or whatever.
It took me a little while to notice that it happened.
Interesting.
I was like, why am I drifting?
I like to think I'm a pretty good driver, and I stay on the track most of the time, but there's a few times I'm like, what? I'm getting close to the edge, and I didn't fall off. I was like, oh, man, I'm real good at this.
Yeah, it holds you on.
It's auto-aim for driving games?
Yeah.
Because I just learned about the whole drifting thing in Mario Kart.
How to
actually pull it off and do it right.
Good.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't realize that was a thing. So I remembered that on the last one.
You got to jump and power slide to build up boost, and then you release. And then there's 2 levels.
Interesting.
Your tires spark blue and then orange, or orange and then blue.
Yeah, one or the other. And evidently there's a way to
more boost, and then you release to boost, and that's actually how you get.
So I'm doing the drifting with this steering assist crap on. And I'm like, wow, I am drifting perfectly around these turns, and I am so good at this. Why am I still ending up in 7th place, 8th place? I could not win to save my life. There's also another, I want to say it's like an auto accelerate option or something, and that's another option you can turn off. And then you can also turn off the motion controls.
I
didn't know I could turn that off.
I disliked motion controls on the Wii version.
Well, really? Because I liked them.
Yeah. I liked them a lot, but I want one or the other. I don't want to accidentally have both of them on at the same time.
That's the thing. Like, I kept having it on, and I'm like you said, why am I leaning this way? Why am I drifting this way? Yeah. So you can actually turn all that off, and it makes it way more
Do you have motion
different.
controls enabled still on Zelda? For
no,
your bow?
I turned those off immediately.
That was like the most obnoxious thing in the entire world.
Oh, I don't like. No. I don't like motion controls unless you're a Wii game.
I agree.
I just don't.
Before we get to news, are you done?
I mean, for the most part.
What else did you play? Something?
I didn't really play anything else. I was just saying Mario Kart. It's there's a lot of things that you can do.
Yeah, that's a game I've not played that yet.
Have you played the battle mode yet?
No.
Okay, we need to get together and play some Mario Kart.
Have you got it?
Mode.
No, I don't. It's all right. We can play it split screen.
Rude?
Yeah, sorry, man.
That's all good.
We'll figure it out. Before we get to news, I just wanted to bring up something that Adam and I discovered over the weekend, and that's that we're both idiots.
You guys just discovered that?
Yes. No. This is great. Yeah. You will die.
So people all the time are like, "Oh my god, you guys play so many games. You must be so good at games." And I've been playing games forever, and blah blah blah. And like, I think with that actually comes like kind of this negative downside. So, like when I was, I'm going to say a kid, but even until I'm going to say like into the 2000s, probably into the 2010s, almost every game that had a run button, it was like, how do you run? Oh, you press B to run, and you'd hold down B the entire damn time you wanted to run, and you'd run. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, all these first-person games that needed like the B button to do something else started being like, oh no, so you have to use the left thumbstick to run.
Stick.
Yeah,
shut up. And so I was playing Destiny with my brother, And I said, God, it is so obnoxious having to hold this stick down and run. Like, it makes it so hard. I wish they would just go back to where you could hold a button and run. I don't understand, like, how I'm supposed to, like, run and hold this stick down and move. It makes me worse. And my brother's like, you can just click it, right? And I said, what? And he's like, yeah, you just have to run and you click the button and you'll keep running. I'm like, really? He's like, it works the same way in the Division too, right? I'm like, oh my God, this just changed my life. And so then we start playing the Division with Adam. I'm like, so I was real dumb today, Adam, telling my brother about this click to run thing. He's like, no, you just have to click it. And Adam said,
what? Are you serious? And I went, hang on. Oh my God. Really?
Yeah, it's a button.
So anyway, our lives have been...
I thought that you had to push and hold that stick whilst running. You can just click it and keep going. So I didn't know that. And I'm like, wow, my thumbs are going to hurt way less after playing a game like this for 3 hours.
So anyway, if you're also an idiot, hey, welcome to a real dumb club full of dumb people. And if you are not, then hey, you're way smarter than Adam and I put together.
Yes.
So
toggle to run.
Yeah, just never occurred to me. Literally, now that you know how dumb I am, go try it doing it the way I did it. It's really hard.
Does that translate?
I assume it's every game
like
ever.
In The Last of Us? Could I have done the same thing?
Probably.
Probably just about every game ever.
Right? Anyway.
Well,
on to news.
News.
That's not so obvious.
You can click the stick to run. That's news.
So the thing that makes me want to buy an Xbox now, it is finally here, and it's not Halo, and it's not any of that crap.
Well, actually, that's not true. It is Halo.
Well, it is. That's part of it. Amongst, like 250 other games or something?
It's 112, I think, right now. And it just dropped just like, hey, games.
Right, and it's the Xbox Game Pass is what we're talking about. It's kind of like the Netflix subscription model of gaming.
It's $10 a month. There's a 14-day free trial, and it's really cool. I signed up for the trial, and I'm going to pay $10 a month for it. I mean, both because I love the idea and because that's what I was kind of like. I've been a Netflix subscriber for 19 years, I want to say.
They've been around that long?
18 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I got the discs for years and years and years, and then when streaming came along, it's kind of one of those things like I love this idea and I want to support it, so I'm willing to pay $10 a month. Maybe it's $120 a year. It's the cost of 2 full price games, and you get access to
Banjo-Kazooie.
I mean,
that's all you need.
It's crazy. Like you go in and look, and it's some great games. It's Halo 5. It's Lego Batman. I mean, these are just the featured ones. Payday 2, BioShock Infinite, Saints Row 4, the president's whatever reelected kind of expansion for that, Mega Man Collection, XCOM, Streets of Rage. It's amazing how many games are in this. I mean, I went through and immediately just downloaded like 5 or 6 games. Mad Max, which is a game I've always wanted to play, but just didn't want to pay. I'd heard it was just good. Didn't want to pay $30 for it. Didn't want to pay $20 for it. But hell yeah, I'll try it for free. A ton of it's a really good mix of like Xbox 360 backwards compatible games, Xbox One games, and then like pretty top shelf Xbox One games. But you're going to get a ton of like cool things that you've probably, if you haven't played them, you're going to want to. The BioShock games are in there. The Borderland games are in there.
Oh, Sunset Overdrive?
Sunset Overdrive's in there. And that's what I'm seeing a lot of is those kind of first-party Microsoft games that they can obviously this is going to be something they have to do in concert with publishers. So a publisher is going to have to say, it's just like Netflix. A studio is going to have to say, yes, we will license things to put them on here. But DMC, the Devil May Cry game's on there.
Love that game.
Fable 3's on there. All of the Gears of War games except 4 on there, and that includes the Gears of War like reboot, Halo 5, Halo Spartan Assault. What else we got?
There's a game it looks like on here called Ollie Ollie.
Yep.
Have you ever played that?
I have not, but it looks really cool.
So that was one of the Nintendo Humble Bundle that they did.
Oh, sure.
I did that, and I got the Wii U version of it and the 3DS version in that Humble Bundle.
It's good stuff.
It is a awesome time suck.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Yeah, Layers of Fear, which I just beat, and it's fantastic, is in there. Lumo's in there. Explosion Man, if you've never played. This is actually Mrs. Explosion Man, is a super fun platformer where you jump by blowing yourself up.
Braid is in there.
And Plus is in there. Operation Flashpoint's in there. There's a bunch of like old Namco Museum, Pac-Man, and old arcade games that are fun. Sacred 3 is in there, which is not the best of the Sacred games, but it's still a lot of fun. The Sam and Max games are in there, which are great. Splunky's in there. Oh, Splosion Man is in there. Stacking from Double Fine's in there. Like you said, Sunset Overdrive. Super Time Force, which is a great game. I mean, like Terraria. Like you could, for $10 a month, you could play Terraria forever. That is a fantastic, like, kind of Xbox, or not Xbox, Minecrafty 2D exploration game.
So the moral of the story is there are a lot of games, and they're
games
not just passable, like, you know.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
Games
What do you
you're
call it?
gonna wanna play.
Shovelware? Is that what you say?
Well, I mean, I
Yeah.
think the thing, probably the question you ask yourself is like, and I think everyone's got a friend this way, where like I said, I've been a Netflix subscriber for 18 years, and then every once in a while you'll run into someone who like, I don't have Netflix. I'm like, why not? It's $10 a month, and it's like every movie you could ever watch. So, oh, there's nothing on there. There's never anything on Netflix, and I'm like, what do you mean? And what they mean is the movie that just came out on Blu-ray isn't on Netflix. And they're right.
Yeah.
Mostly.
The movie that just came out on Blu-ray is also not usually on HBO or the other stuff.
Yeah, you know.
Once in a while, they'll get the in concert with the studio, we're going to get blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. But I think if that's what you're expecting from either Netflix or Games Pass, you're going to be disappointed. If you expect that a brand new game is going to come out and it's going to hit Games Pass, that's not what it is. This is going to be games that have been out for a while, games that are selling for $20, $30 retail, you know, Microsoft games that have been big, but maybe were big. It's kind of like EA Access. EA Access is the exact same way. It's, you know, EA games that are 6 months old or 9 months old or 12 months old. Yeah, you're not getting them first run, but you're also only paying $10 a month for these things. So, you know, if you, and I mean, I think Dylan brought up a really good point. If you have an Xbox and you don't have a ton of games, this gives you over 100 games right now. I mean,
See, yeah, and that's like I said, this is the thing that would make me get an Xbox.
And I think the thing that I like most about it is like this is every month they're going to pull some games out and push some new games in. So it's going to be a rotating list of things, which, you know, like the downside is hopefully they're not going to pull things out that you're playing. But
so yeah, how would that work? What if you've got a game downloaded on your system that you're playing and you want to
continue?
Yeah, you're wanting to play that, but it's going away at the end of the month, much like this movie on Netflix is going away at the end of the month.
And you know, I actually read an article about that, but it was like 2 months ago, so I don't remember the details. But I think part of it is if you're playing a game, you can actually buy it at a discount. So if you're part of Games Pass, these games are going to be discounted if you do want to purchase them and keep them forever. But also, I don't think that they're going to be like, I don't think it's going to be a wholesale, like there's not 100 new games every month. So, you know, I mean, is it a possibility that that'll happen to you? Yes, it is. I don't know exactly how they're going to handle it. But I think the other thing that really interests me about this is Phil Spencer, like head of Xbox guy, has said that really what he'd like to see happen here, like and not now, but in the future, is that people use Game Pass like Netflix uses itself, where Netflix has shows that they make for Netflix, and so he'd like to see games released for Game Pass as their way that, you know, that's their means of distribution. And maybe they're episodic, maybe it is, you know, every month a new
That'd
episode.
be great for like the Telltale games.
Hell
is
yeah.
a perfect example if they could do something like that and to test that idea.
Yeah. I think this is so smart. I think it's smart that it's $10 a month cheaper than PlayStation Now. I think it's smart that it's not streaming. These actually literally physically download to your Xbox and sit on your hard drive.
Now, do you think that Sony is going to follow suit?
I think that they would have a harder time doing it because they can't do it with PS3 games. Because there's absolutely no way that they can make PS3 games run on a PS4,
which is just bonkers.
Yeah, why? I don't.
It actually has to do with
that.
like if you want to get weedy, it's because of hardware architecture. The PS3 used a like 7 or 8 core cell processor, which is literally 100% different than the probably AMD effectively computer processor that's in the PS4. So they're so different from like a hardware architecture standpoint that there's no way to just port them over without rewriting those games from scratch. So yeah, it's a bummer, but which is why PS Now is a great alternative if you're a big, you know, PlayStation person and want to play a bunch of PS3 games. You know, so.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they learn moving forward that, you know, try and keep your architecture kind of
backwards
similar.
Compatibility is hard too. I mean, the way it works on the Xbox is literally when you start an Xbox 360 game, it first of all loads up the Xbox 360 operating system virtually. And so like your Xbox One is now running an Xbox 360 that's running a game. So you've got to have a lot of processor overhead. It's hard.
Well, because I remember the original PlayStation 3 when that came out, the first run of
had
them
a PS2 chip
had
in
PS2 backwards compatibility, and then they just stopped doing it, which I don't know why.
Because they literally put a PS2 processor on a PS3 motherboard. So it was just expensive. You know, so it's backwards compatibility is hard. Like people complain about it, and rightfully so, because you don't want to not be able to play games that you've played in the past. And I mean, like Nintendo is awful at like, hey, every single generation, let's make you rebuy every game you've ever bought previously.
Right.
So,
well, but at least with the GameCube, the Wii, and the Wii U, was the Wii U? Could the Wii U play GameCube games?
No.
The Wii U, no. I know that the first half of the Wii U's or the Wii's life cycle, you could.
Yeah. So it's just, you know, it's hard and it's expensive. And when you really like, I don't know if people know this or not, but consoles are expensive.
Yes.
But like Microsoft doesn't make much money every time they sell.
I want to say most of the hardware people, they're selling it at
almost
cost,
a break
basically.
even, or they make very, very. So I mean, when I worked at Software Etc., we didn't get a discount on systems because we would literally lose money if we gave a discount on them. They make it up in maybe the other thing you don't know is every time a developer says, "Hey, I want to make a game for your system," Microsoft takes a portion of that.
Right.
So. They make their money off software, just like developers make their money off software. So either way, Game Pass is great. I'm very excited to watch it over the next 6-9 months. And if you have, I mean, can you imagine how amazing this would be for Christmas? Like, you know, I mean, when we were kids, you woke up and you're like, hey, sweet, I got a Super Nintendo and I've got one game that I'm going to play for the next
that came with it
4 months. Maybe we'll go to Blockbuster every now and again. Waking up on your birthday or waking up on Christmas, just going like, hey, I've got 110 games. I can play any single one of them. And I mean, you know, you could literally just download a game and try it out and see if you like it and delete it.
If not, move along.
One thing I would kind of caution people on, because I don't know if it's something people think about, but if you have a internet provider that has data caps, be careful.
Yeah.
Because video games are huge. And if you downloaded 100 games right now, you would probably hit your data caps depending on what they are.
Because what's your data cap?
Mine is a terabyte, and I hit it every single month.
I have no data cap on mine.
I pay $50 extra so that I don't have a data cap every single month. Wow. Yeah. But
I mean, racket, man.
You know, you think about it, like, so you download, I get like 6 games from Humble Bundle every month. I get 6 games from PlayStation every month, and I get 4 games from Xbox every month. Like that right there is probably a quarter to a half of my, probably a quarter of my data cap every single month. And then you add Netflix on top of that, and you add Hulu on top of that, and you add, just other stuff I download on top of that. I've got a kid who watches YouTube videos from the time he wakes up until the time he goes to bed. And a wife who watches Netflix from the time she wakes up until the time she goes to bed. Like, there's a terabyte right there.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So keep that in mind if you've got one of those.
Yeah. Games Pass sounds like a good idea. Might make me want to buy an Xbox.
Do it. Wait and get a Scorpio.
Well, yeah. Up next. Damn, that Far Cry 5 trailer.
That is literally what our show notes say. And
yeah.
I like it.
And it is awesome. Like, that game looks... I've never played a Far Cry game ever. I've seen them. I think they've always looked interesting or whatever. This is extremely topical, which I'd like to know how they managed to put a game out like that so quickly. I
mean, I would say that it's exceptionally topical right now.
Yeah.
But that the concept of,
because people are pissed off.
Well, and what I would say, too, and what people are pissed off about is, literally, if you haven't seen the trailer, just hit pause right now and go watch it.
Because we'll spoil the trailer for you.
Yeah. So what this game appears to be is it's set in Montana.
Yes. Which is awesome in itself. Which
is great.
To be like...
Oh, I love the idea.
Yeah.
Love the idea. Like we talked about last week, I love the idea that it's set in the United States and it's set in Montana. Like, I would love to know if any other game ever has been set in Montana. My guess is no.
Big Buck Hunter.
Possibly.
It's just a guess.
But it's set in a small town.
Hope County.
Yeah. That has been taken over by religious zealots. And they're taking over this town and they're forcing people to join their little strange religious militia. And so, like, is it topical? Yes. Would it have been topical after Branch Davidian? Yes. Would it have been topical after Ruby Ridge? Yes. Yeah. You know, I think that just because we're seeing kind of an explosion of, what's the nicest way to say this?
An explosion of ideologies.
Yes. Conflicting ideologies.
Yes.
This game's been in development, I guarantee, for 2 or 3 years.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
You know, I mean, frankly, Montana has had wacky, you know, extremist militias for decades. And so, you know, pushing that in with kind of religious fundamentalism that has also been, you know, a thing that has been going on for decades. You know, is it topical yet now? Yeah. Was it topical 10 years ago? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's like, it's almost like using statistics to paint a picture. Like, anybody can take a statistic and make it fit their narrative somehow.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things.
But I mean, God, this looks incredible.
It looks intense.
It looks so good, and I love. You can, from what I understand, the characters you can play as a bunch of different. Your character can be one of a bunch of different people. You know, male, female. I think you can play as an African American guy. So you have a lot of choices about, you know, which of the members of this town resistance you're going to play as. But I mean, the people you're fighting against look awesome too. Like, I mean, I think the thing that people are looking at this is they're looking at this as the bad guys are Christian fundamentalists, but they're not. Like, that's the first mistake people are making, because these people are religious wackos that have started their own religion, have their own religious symbology. Symbols? I don't know. The thing he's holding is not a cross. It's
symbolism?
It's a weird, like, cross with circles. I mean, like, these people have, this is not any mainstream branch of Christianity that's taking over this town. If it is at all, it's a very fringe offshoot that no one who is Christian would go like, oh yeah, they're just like me.
Yeah.
You know, like, they're like you because yes, they hold beliefs, and yes, they're white, which you may or may not be, but like, really the similarities should end there, unless you're also a crazy nutso holed up in, you know, Montana somewhere. So people are really, like I said, people are pissed. People are really pissed because they're not used to someone that looks like them being the bad guy in a video game. And, you know, that's not fair.
Well, yeah.
Like, you know, we've had, no one complains when you set a game in the Middle East and you're killing terrorists. No one complains when, I know we talked a little bit about this last week, but no one complains when you set a video game in LA or New York and you're killing gang members. No one complains when,
because they're historically portrayed as the bad guy in the media, in you know, any which way. So having to turn that mirror on yourself and
is
be
really
like,
hard.
It's
and I get it, but I think
people who are getting pissed off about it, though, they hate that they're seeing some part of them aside from their color. There might be something that they're seeing in this trailer that I'm not seeing because I can't identify with it. And maybe that bothers them too.
100%. My favorite thing so far, and unfortunately Change.org has been having all sorts of...
I just clicked on the link that you put in our notes and it's not working.
It's been broken on and off all day, but someone has set up a Change.org petition, and it has like when I checked last, it had 980 people backing it. That they want this changed, and they can't believe it. And literally, the problem with this is are you guys familiar with Poe's Law? So Poe's Law says that any sort of extremism at some point becomes indistinguishable from parody of that extremism. And so, like, think about crazy thing you've seen, and then think about Onion articles you've seen, and people go like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this is true," and then post an Onion article. That's Poe's Law. And so, like, literally, this Change.org petition, I can't decide if it's people that are really mad or people that have created a really funny Change.org petition saying, like, this is crap and we don't like it. Really what you need to do, I mean, literally part of it, they're like, maybe you could just add some Mexicans. I think that would make it better if there were Mexicans in this group.
Wow.
Instead of white people. And so, like I said, I can't tell which way it goes, but God, I'm really excited to see where this ends up. I think probably release date
It's early 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say it said February something 2018.
But I was jonesed to play it after watching the trailer, but then after like seeing all this crap that came up around it and knowing how historically good the Far Cry games are, I'm real pumped.
Yeah.
Real pumped.
I'm just still looking at some of these pictures and some of these tweets that people
they're
are
hilarious.
posting. It's awesome.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that are legit pissed off, and I think that a lot of people say, get your politics out of my games. But isn't that what makes games exciting, and interesting?
Well, yeah.
And I mean, the reality is you just don't want your politics in these games. You're happy to have other people's politics in these games.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what irritates me the most about all this people spewing all this stuff on the internet and on and on and on. It's like, it's all fine and good for you to say that until somebody says something about you, and then there's the problem. Oh, well, come on.
Yeah. Yep.
Just
pretty sure there's a
relax.
South Park episode about that.
Pretty much all of South Park is about that. But anyway, yeah, if you want to check out the Far Cry 5 trailer, if you've not seen it yet,
go watch it.
You need to watch it because it looks great.
My very favorite part, I have so many favorite parts, was when they're driving in a car and you see a bear chasing a guy the other way.
Yeah. I still like the part with the dude in the bell tower.
Oh, yeah.
I still love that.
It's everything about it. Everything about it has been done very well. Like the first screenshot they released of it too was literally a recreation of the Last Supper, but with all these Duck Dynasty looking dudes in place of all
and I think what that image right there alone is what sparked.
I get it.
Everybody getting.
I mean, I guess the thing is, it's not that I don't understand why people are angry. It's just that that it doesn't make it better.
Right.
Looks good though. Looks real good.
Moving on to our next order of business. It turns out the PlayStation 3 production has finally shut down.
Now is the sad trombone time. Yeah, I just have to have that on.
That thing?
Yeah.
What, you don't care about this?
No.
Why? Why don't you care?
Why? Yeah. When was the last time I bought a PS3 game?
Yeah, right.
The PS4's out.
Am I the only
Move on.
PS3 fan
in
this
room?
room?
I'm a big fan of the PS3. I owned one. I really liked it.
Liked it. I heard you.
I
hear what
me
you're
how
saying.
much time it
kept going.
Yeah,
for
exactly. I just stopped.
The reason why it's disappointing to me is that, first of all, it means you're going to have a hard time buying a new one, which probably was hard anyway.
It's probably difficult anyway.
But there are hundreds of games available for that system that, come a couple years from now, it's going to be harder and harder and harder to play. Because like we said, the architecture for the PS3 is weird. And so it's going to be really hard to emulate. It's going to be really hard to do. And so you're looking at a system that, you look at a Super Nintendo now and you can make something that'll play Super Nintendo games. And you look at even PS2 games are emulatable on a high-end PC. It's possible. But the PS3 may be a system that at some point in time you can no longer play games for it. The good news, I guess, is with PS Now, they've figured out some way to emulate these on high-end server systems. But anytime something with that much history and anytime something that's sold, I think they made 60 million of them or 80 million of them?
80 million, more than 80 million PS3 consoles.
That's a huge amount of systems that, I'm disappointed because it's part of history. It's it's part of gaming, and it's anytime they stop making a system, it's sad. They're not releasing new games for it.
It's not
but I like the idea that that's still part of history. So, but you're right. The PS4 does exist, and I haven't bought a PS3 game in. Oh well, that's actually true. I bought Journey maybe 3 months ago, but
why didn't you just get it for your PS4?
Yeah, I actually bought it because I didn't realize it was, but it's crossplay. So.
Okay, good.
But I bought it very purposely for my PS3, thinking that it didn't work on the PS4. So, but then I found out it did.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, it's just yes.
Yeah.
Did you play it?
Not yet. Sorry, my PS. Yeah. Well, I kind of want to stream it, and it's hard for me to stream my PS4. So.
Oh yeah. True.
But I think that anytime a system stops being made new ones, it's just almost a nostalgia. So. Oh,
it totally is. But like I said, I bought that Capcom bundle a year and a half ago, and I just now loaded Okami onto my PS3, and it plays great and it looks great. So I'm going to get plenty of fun out of my my PS3, and I've got one of the original fat ones.
Nice. Yeah, I do too. Yeah. And I think the thing too is as gaming systems get more complex too, I think that there's more failure points in them too. So I think whereas you can find SNESs that still work.
Oh, yeah.
I would guess that, 20 years from now, it's going to be really hard to find PS3s that work. And I mean, the other side of it is that, like CD decay is a real thing. So like the games you want to put in them may not work as well. So
I'd never thought of that.
Yeah.
Well, now I want to go back home and play Burnout 3 really quick before it officially dies.
Yeah. And I mean, I think the good news is there are a lot of people that are taking there are a lot of movies that just don't exist anymore because back in the day they didn't save stuff like that. They didn't archive it. It was put on film and it went away, or they reused it, or I mean they're literally ones like we didn't have room for it so we burned it. And so there are movies that just the masters no longer exist for them anymore, or the masters aren't in good condition. And so, it's important to save stuff like this. And luckily, there are a bunch of, nonprofits that are actually working on archiving old video games and trying to figure out a way to make them still playable and still exist forever. So that's important, too.
Did you know the PS2 had a 13-year production run?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
13 years?
Well, and I mean, I guess the crazy thing is
nuts.
When was it launched? Does it say?
The PS2? The PS2 came out in 2000 and I want to say 2001?
That's maybe a little before that.
It was 2001. It was
2000.
It was. I want to say 2001 because I was living in Pennsylvania, and
that's about the time I bought one. 2002. 2000.
Was it 2000? Okay.
Yeah. So until 2013.
Oh, it came out
4th, 2000 in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out holiday. It came out holidays.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy though that you could have bought one of those new 4 years ago?
That's nuts,
right? Yeah. It's just weird when you really start thinking about that.
What?
Right? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, history's interesting. So
interesting.
Anyway.
All right. And R.I.P. PS3.
Yeah. It's been good.
That was fun to say. All right. So the game that came out that I know Vinny's playing, right?
Vinny is playing it. Another one of our listeners, her Twitter handle is Annie, are you okay? I don't know what her real name is.
I saw that pop up on my phone when we got a notification. I was like,
every time she does it,
Annie,
Dylan and I were talking about it too. Every time she tweets us or anything, all I can think of is except I don't think about the Michael Jackson version. I think of the
Alien Ant Farm
version. So it just runs through my head.
Version.
Yeah, it is the better version.
I like Michael Jackson. I don't like that song from him.
Anyway,
let's agree to disagree and
get
on into our discussion about the Friday the 13th game.
This game's interesting.
Is it Friday yet?
It is not. God, I wish it was Friday.
No.
Did they release this game on Friday the 13th?
No, they released it on Friday the 25th.
Yeah, which is weird. And I mean, not only is it, I think it was a mistake in multiple ways. So if you haven't been paying attention to Friday the 13th, it had a pretty big buildup. People have been excited about this game for a while. It had a Kickstarter that was successful-ish. It raised $800,000, which is good. Their stretch goals went up way into the millions. And I mean, that's something I've actually had a couple of people say, oh yeah, they made a bunch of money off of Kickstarter. $800,000 for video game development is nothing.
Yeah.
Trust me, programmers that make video games make, depending on where they live, between, $80,000 and $120,000 a year. So $80,000 does not pay for many video game developers or video game producers or graphic artists, or it's an expensive thing to do. And I mean, maybe at more indie levels, maybe they don't make that much, but
still,
they make a lot of money. Programmers they make good money.
And the game looks, I wanted to play it. I remember seeing the original trailers and videos and stuff for it going, wow, this is great. Yeah. And then when I in turn watched somebody, I want to say I watched a Twitch stream of it or something the day or so after it came out. And I noticed the way that this one character's hair was moving as she was driving away. And it looked real bad.
Yeah. So the game came out kind of janky, but probably the worst part about it is this is a currently multiplayer only game. There is going to be a single player, but it's coming later.
Yeah.
There are air quotes there. They say this summer, but we'll see. it launched real broken. The servers, like, I talked to Vinny today, and he said he had not been able to, like, reliably connect until yesterday. So launching over a 3-day weekend where everyone's going to pound on that thing maybe wasn't the smartest move. Like, maybe lunch on a Tuesday. And so, like, you know, that aside, the game, everyone that I've talked to, both Vinny and we'll call her Annie.
I heard she's okay.
She's okay.
Yeah, she's all right.
Are you okay?
They both say, like, hey, once I was able to get in, this game is awesome. Like, graphical glitches aside, like, the game's glitchy, but apparently it's really, really, really fun. If you're unfamiliar with it, like, the idea is you play with 7 other people, and one of you is Jason, and 7 of you are camp counselors, and the 7 camp counselors have to try and either, I think, they may be able to escape, but they're trying to kill Jason.
Well, it's either, I think you have to either escape or the cops get there, or the cops show up, or something.
But either way, and he's trying to kill all 7 of them in grotesque, horrible, awful ways, as the movies dictate.
Yeah, and it seems like one of the other things that I noticed, it seems like the only kill animation that I've seen was him crushing their face.
There's apparently a bunch of them.
Okay, because that was the only one that I saw. So I think maybe the guy that I was watching on Twitch, that was like his go-to.
That was Joe Face Crusher.
But
oh yeah, that was him.
You know, so like the game is objectively, people are enjoying it, even though it maybe not be perfect. There's been a lot of complaints, like specifically past the server problems. The Xbox version that launched is apparently not. They launched it as a retail build, and it's still the beta build, which a lot of people are real mad about. So it doesn't have a lot of the same like menus and help stuff, and like the hair animations are real broken in it. So people are kind of mad that they did that, and that's kind of unconfirmed, but it really looks that way. Like I said, the servers were super broken. Matchmaking is really broken. Both Vinny and Annie said like it seems like the balance is weird, and I've heard that like your odds of getting to be Jason seem really off.
Like
apparently
1 in 8?
No. Apparently you can say I either want to be I want to be Jason or I want to be a counselor. And it's not really respecting those obviously if all 8 of you say I want to be Jason, yeah, you've got a 1 in 8 chance. But it's not respecting that right, and a lot of people are saying I want to be a counselor, and they're getting Jason 5 or 6 times in a row, and some just little kind of quality of life things that aren't quite there yet. But really, I think the thing that I want to talk about most about this is like the game, good, bad. If you're enjoying it, that's all that matters. I think it's $30, so at least it's not 60, maybe it's 40.
I think it's 39.
Yeah, so if you're into that kind of thing and you like Friday the 13th, maybe this is your jam. Give it a go. I don't think it's my thing.
I honestly think I am going to pick it, but I can't decide if I want to get it for PC. Is it PC, PS4?
For and Xbox, I believe.
Is it? Okay. I can't decide.
Yeah, which is, again, that's the age-old decision that we shouldn't have to make, but for some reason they want to make us. And this one can be cross-platform on all 3, too. Like, there's no shooting in it, so there's no reason it couldn't work cross on all 3, except that this reason.
Yeah. Stuff.
The thing I want to talk about, though, is how these guys ended up with the Final Fantasy license. I was talking...
You mean the Friday the 13th license?
Sorry, what did I say?
You said Final Fantasy.
That's Adam's fault.
I saw F13 on our notes, and I'm like, why are we talking about Final Fantasy 13?
That's an old game.
Wait a minute.
That's FF13.
Yeah.
I was talking to a YouTuber that I chat with occasionally. His name's Purple Swordfish. He listens to the show, and I watch him live stream. I watch all his stuff, too. Nice guy. And I said, like, how did they get the license for this? And he's like, that's a really good question. You guys should talk about that. And I'm like, that is a good question. That's why I asked it.
So $799,999 of their $800,000 Kickstarter went to the license.
Apparently no. And also I guess another thing to think about Kickstarter is like they got $800,000, but they probably only actually saw 70% of that, and because
70%, that's it?
Yeah, because 10% goes to Kickstarter, and then usually 20 or 30% goes to backer rewards. So they only actually got maybe I'm not going to do math, but $500,000. No,
Dylan's not going to do math either. I just looked at him.
7 times 21.
Yeah,
$210
money.
million.
Money.
Yeah. So they got $500,000 or $600,000. And part of it may have gone to that. Part of it, they got the dude who plays Jason in some of the new movies to do motion capture. They've got the original composer to do some of the music. Yeah. So like a lot of people involved with this game are involved with it, but the game's wacky in that it originally started out as a game called Slasher Volume 1 Summer Camp, which was essentially a Friday the 13th game in everything except name. Like, they did not have a Jason, but it was, deranged killer killing, horny teenagers at, that's their words, not mine.
Right.
At, a camp, and them having to fight back, which is, Friday the 13th with everything except Jason.
Yeah.
And they released a trailer of it, and
the bad guy's name was James.
and Sean Cunningham, who is like the producer for the Friday the 13th movie, saw it and just kind of reached out and started talking to him, and eventually said, like, do you guys just want to use the Friday the 13th license? And whether that's a money changing hands thing, whether it's not, who knows, but it's really strange to think that so it's made by a team called Gun and and another team called, I forget, it's a weird name. So two teams have been working on this. Like, between them, they don't have like a successful game at all. They've got some iOS games. They've got like a couple of games that hit the Xbox and the PlayStation, but that are all like, hey, we got a 6 on Metacritic, or, their PlayStation game got a 3 on Metacritic. So these guys are not like, they all have AAA experience, but they are not a powerhouse of developers that have done stuff that you'd want to play.
Yeah, Ilphonic,
yeah. Which started out as a music studio that decided to make video games. So, I don't
even know what that means.
Right? But that's the point. For them to like trip across the Friday the 13th license, and for them to be trusted with what is arguably probably one of the two or three biggest horror brands in the world, is just, I don't understand how it happened. I literally do not understand why it happened. And if anyone was surprised that they came out of this with a launch that was kind of shaky, like, why? Like, I'm shocked actually that it's running now, because there's almost no reason that it should be. So
I'm just looking through some of the games from these developers, and it looks like the only other game that Gun, is that what it is? Gun?
Yeah. It's called
Breach and Clear. It's an iPad game.
Yeah, but I think it also has had some other releases. So, but that's literally, and it's like, IGN gave it a 10, or I'm sorry, gave it an 8, but like a lot of other outlets have given it a far lesser rating. So I just don't, it's really strange to me to go read the Wikipedia. Like, I highly recommend reading the Wikipedia on Gun. And what did you say the other one was?
Ilphonic,
yeah.
Because you'll just go like, how did this happen? Like, how, I guess maybe it's, hey, dreams come true in America. But it's
Sonic Boom. Ilphonic has a game called Sonic Boom.
It's real strange.
To me, Friday the 13th isn't like a IP that really needs like a buzz boost.
Right?
Like, oh, we could just give them the name, and they can, get some free publicity, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't really seem like that's necessary.
No.
But I don't know, maybe.
It's so wacky to me that there wasn't a AAA developer who's like, oh yeah, I'd like to make a Friday the 13th game. I'd be willing to pay for this license.
Yeah.
As opposed to two developers who you've literally never heard of going like, I don't know, we could give it to them instead.
Is there a Friday the 13th movie coming out anytime soon?
I'm sure there's another one always on the horizon.
I'm not the biggest horror movie person, so that's not really what I follow, but I don't know, is there something relevant that, this is useful?
Yeah, I don't know.
I honestly, I don't know. Maybe he wanted that Friday the 13th game.
I'm sure they've
something.
sold some Blu-rays because of this game.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, this game.
People are obviously buying the game.
Let's go to Best Buy and pick up
It's
some.
sold well, although I will say the first result for Friday the 13th right now is Kotaku saying Friday the 13th game isn't very good.
Oh, poor guys.
So, yeah, I'm just absolutely intrigued by, and you've got to give them some credit. Like, we made a what at least looked like a cool slasher game based on some trailers, and people got some buzz and got excited about it. They gave us $800,000 on Kickstarter, and we made Friday the 13th through a series of strange events, I guess. So, more power to them.
But from everything that I've seen, the game is not an unplayable game.
No. Except when the servers are down.
Like that. But it's not a bad game. It's not a good game.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's a solid entry.
Yeah, we were talking about this before we started recording, and I think the thing that worries me most about Friday the 13th is the same thing that worries me about games like, what's that Bethesda, big fighting game that came out 3 or 4 months ago?
Dishonored?
Dishonored. No.
For Honor.
For Honor. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's close, but yeah.
Yeah.
For Honor, where the entire game is multiplayer and you've got to have a server full of people for this to work. That if people don't buy it and keep playing it, eventually you're going to not be able to.
Yes.
And with a indie game, For Honor saw that happen, and that's a Bethesda-backed game that has a ton of money and a big marketing budget. And this is a game made by two developers we've never heard of, and it had a really crappy launch. So what are the odds that 4 months from now you're going to be able to find 8 other people to play or 7 other people to play this game with? And at the same time, too, that X versus one game genre that started with Evolve. Evolve came out, and then 4 other games were announced that were going to be 4v1 games, and all 4 of them were canceled. And then this one came out.
Well, but then you've got games like, what is it, H1Z1 and PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds?
The weirdest, longest title in the world.
Right, but that game, I kind of want to buy that game.
Oh, me too.
That one I'm into. But it's like you say those other games got just chopped done, the 4v1 or whatever, 5v1, and then you've got these
30 versus
100 versus 1.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So and they're doing well. That game is selling like insanity.
Yeah, the difference is the PlayerUnknown sold 2 million copies.
Yeah.
And I don't know what Friday the 13th has sold, but my guess is it's not 2 million copies.
But
it is a crapshoot too. You look at how many people play Overwatch, which same thing. You've got to have 12 people to play Overwatch versus Battleborn. Battleborn crashed and burned, or Paragon, kind of same thing.
And I don't even know those games
exactly
because I'm also not a huge multiplayer online multiplayer kind of guy. Yeah. I'll get in with small groups, that of people that I know.
Yeah.
So that I don't get yelled at for being so terrible.
Yeah, but I think at the same, there is a reality to these multiplayer only games is that there will come a point in time where there are not enough people online for you to matchmake with, or you're just going to be playing with the same 20 people over and over and over and over again. So,
well, there's that.
Anyway,
Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
buy it or don't.
Yeah, and I don't think take criticism. Like I said, everyone who I've talked to who's played it really, really likes it.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, with the exception of Kotaku. Yeah.
Well, yeah. All right. So up next,
anyway?
Yeah, exactly. Who are they?
Yeah,
because I was looking, and Kevin's like, "Who's Kotaku or whatever?" And I just saw them. I just didn't been reading.
Oh, they're huge. They're part of Gawker Media, or used to be part of Gawker Media.
Yeah, Kevin had no idea who they were.
Really?
Yeah,
that's really surprised me. They're huge.
I know that now.
Huge. Yeah.
I've known about them for some time.
Big stuff.
You
should throw that in his face repeatedly.
Do what?
You should throw that in his face.
I will.
I knew who Kotaku was.
Look what I know, Kevin. Up next, we have what?
Hey, Vinny. How you doing?
I enjoy that our way of getting this done is you say what's up next, and we both just stare at Dylan until he says something dumb.
Right.
What question you got for us this week?
Well, since you did such a fine intro, why don't you read us his question? See how I did that? You were not expecting that.
Do you want me to read it in an accent?
No.
Or not?
For the love of God, no.
Yes.
Well, since you asked nicely. What game or games do we think is the most influential for future games of this generation?
Well, aren't you a fancy
You should be on the radio.
Actor?
I'm Adam East.
And I'm Adam West.
To the East.
Yeah. So games that we think are most influential for future
games.
For future games of this generation. So not for the long haul, but just this current generation. I don't know.
I got ideas.
I got one.
Zelda. Because your weapons break and you can climb anything.
That climb anywhere thing, though, I've heard that thrown around so many times. How are we going to have an open world game if we can't climb anything? I'm like, I don't know. It'll be like every other open world game where you can't climb everything unrealistically.
They got around just fine.
Yeah. Anyway, I kind of wished in Skyrim though that I could have climbed a little bit more. Sometimes I'm like, I could climb up that mountain.
But maybe give me give me a grappling hook or something.
Yeah, I got it.
I don't know. Give me some way to climb that impossibly steep mountain.
Yeah.
Without my rugged spider hands.
Maybe. Holy crap!
Maybe he's actually Spider-Man.
Zelda a superhero? I'd
Nobody
never
ever thought of
before.
That.
Well, sort of.
So anyway, that game is my choice for most influential game of this current generation. And that whole climb anything mechanic, it opens things up so much. Who cares if it's unrealistic or not? It's like now you don't have just 3 ways to get somewhere. You have got infinite number of ways to get to these places. Anything you can see, basically in this game you can get to.
Yeah.
And that's not something that you've really seen a whole lot of, if at all. Like, there's ways you can get places, but you've only got like 2 or 3 set ways you can get there.
Yes. However, I think there's other ways to get up a mountain.
Yeah,
Like,
I just think it's weird.
Weird.
I don't honestly want to be able to climb anything because that seems cheap and time consuming. Because there's so many, like, if I want to get to the top of that and I climb it, literally takes forever. It's like, no, give me like a monster truck and like give me a cool trail that I can rally.
I've changed my mind.
Like,
all games should have monster trucks.
like monster truck, and let me just rally it up the mountain. Like,
Yeah, I don't understand the climb anywhere thing. Like, I don't understand the importance that people assign to it. Like, I think it's cool. It's a cool mechanic. I think it's a strange mechanic too, though. Like, it seems very. I think I guess the thing that frustrates me the most about it is, like I said, the I can climb anything except inside shrines. That wouldn't work.
Their walls are obviously coated in oil.
I guess every shrine's just Teflon coated,
right?
So I think that's kind of weird.
Butter shrine, canola shrine, olive oil shrine.
See, I like that idea a lot.
Yeah.
That would make sense. So like I said, I don't get it, and I don't think I ever. I do like the idea that anything you can see, you can go to. I think that if I was to take a takeaway from Zelda, it is that anything you can see, you can go to. I don't need to be able to climb anything in the world to be able to get there, though. So
if I could fly, totally down.
Yeah. He can fly. See, and like I think that mechanic's awesome. I
The
love this
paraglider?
little paraglider thing.
Yeah.
I love being able to be up on a high surface and go like right over there and paraglide to it.
And then you land and you realize, well, crap, I'm still a mile away. Yeah.
Oh shoot! Stamina!
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's cool. But like even in Grand Theft Auto, I can get to anything. I just might have to use a different way to get there, and I like that better because I can't just walk literally everywhere because that's not how life is.
But you can't climb. Can you climb up the side of every building?
No,
but I don't. I can
you
get
could
to
steal
the
a
top
helicopter
of
and
it.
get
You
to
can
the
get to the top of
I
every
can
single
get to
building
the top of it.
with a helicopter.
Yeah.
You can't walk inside and walk up the stairs.
No. That's. I really wish.
God, that'd be amazing,
I want to
right?
be able to go in every building. That is what I want to see in a game. Literally everything that's there. I want to be able to interact.
You can go in every. I'm pretty sure every building that I've come across in Zelda, you can go inside.
Yeah, but it's not Grand
That's
Theft Auto.
that's not a dense.
I would guess though
recreation of
that there.
California.
I would guess by relatively soon that like procedural generation would enable all buildings like that to be go insideable, which will be really cool.
Go insideable.
Go insideable.
Enterable.
And
I'm going to trademark go insideable. I don't know what he's saying.
enterable.
Enterable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Enterable.
Yeah, I think it's.
What game is your choice for things?
So I got 2. Like specifically, I'm going to go with crap if I can remember the name of it.
WoW. So
WoW would be a really good one, but no.
Oh.
Defense of the Ancients. Is that what it's called?
It's called Dota.
Dota.
But not Dota, but the Warcraft map that Dota is based off of.
Warcraft 3?
Yeah, but it's a Warcraft 3 map. Is it Defense of the Ancients?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, that's what Dota stands for.
Like, yes, thank you.
I learned
think
that.
MOBA, like, MOBAs sprung up from that, and MOBAs are right now probably I think more people probably play MOBAs than play almost anything else between Dota 2 and League of Legends and there's another one, but anyway,
The Blizzard one.
Is
Heroes of the Storm.
Heroes of the Storm. Okay, yeah,
which isn't very good, I've heard, but
I heard it's
people probably
okay.
still play it.
Yeah, a lot of people play it. I mean, it's got
And then
Blizzard
there's,
money. So
the Xbox
Smite, So these MOBAs just like sprang out of nowhere. They did not exist 5 years ago. And now they're huge and they're influencing all sorts of other things too. Like you hear about like MOBA style shooters now and MOBA style, all this other stuff. And I will be honest, I've never played a single one. You've played a few of them, Dylan, right?
Yeah, mostly just League. I've tried some of the others, but.
And you haven't played any of them, right, Adam?
Nope.
Yeah. It's way out of my wheelhouse. Apparently, like when people are burning out at this at 22 because they're just too old, like I'm way past that. So.
I've watched Kevin play Dota too.
Yeah. And they really interest me, but
it's a lot of click.
They're kind of impenetrable, and they have a pretty steep learning curve, from what I understand. But
sweet,
though, yeah, right. The 2 things that I'm not
Can't
down
wait.
for. But I think that those games as a genre are going to be hugely influential. Both in the both in MOBAs continuing to be huge and like driving esports and all that, but they continue to influence other genres. So I think those are going to be huge. And the other thing I think is going to be big, I'm not going to say a specific game, because honestly I don't know where it started, but the idea of games as a service, so games like Destiny and The Division and Wildlands and probably every Ubisoft game coming out going forward, the idea of persistent multiplayer worlds that you can play single player if you want, but that you're not buying a new version of every year, where you're buying a base game and then you're maybe buying expansions. You're not paying a monthly fee, but that you play over time, and they continue to build story, and they continue to build encounters, and they continue to build. I think that a lot of companies are seeing that as a model that is very profitable, and that players genuinely really like, because people like games that they can hop in with their buddies and play every weekend, but maybe don't want to play Overwatch. Up until this point, those kind of games have all been competitive shooters for the most part, or maybe competitive, or they're WoW, and for people that don't want to play WoW and don't want to play Counter-Strike or Overwatch, it's nice to have this kind of middle ground where I can go in anytime, I can play with my buddies, and we can go, run some stuffs and, do our dailies, and then we're done. And with clans coming into Destiny 2, I think it's just going to continue to build those communities. And I think that game developers, especially AAA developers, are going to see that that's a model that makes a lot of sense to be behind. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
You?
I'm going to have to agree with the MOBA genre, because it fits so well within esports, which is only going to keep growing. And MOBAs, because it's like a 5-on-5, it's an incredibly deep system that is ever evolving, has an ever evolving meta. So different characters are countering other characters. So it's constantly going to change as this new character gets better or gets the spotlight. There's ways to counter it, and once that counter becomes better, it's constant. It's rock paper scissors constantly.
Right.
But on the flip side of that, a game like Overwatch, which is very similar in the fact that it's 6v6, you have a roster of characters. However, juxtaposed with the MOBA, Overwatch is everyone's the same. You're not buying items throughout the game. You're not collecting gold. You're not also fighting for the same objective necessarily. Sometimes it is the same control point, but it's an attack defense. So I really like that as a competitive game type where you have rounds and one team's attacking, one is defending. Something that Counter-Strike did before it, but I think this game really nailed that, and I hope games will. I would have said
Overwatch if Overwatch just hadn't eaten every single competitor that had come out to challenge it. Maybe Lawbreakers, maybe. We'll see. But
it's hard to be influential for the future when you just crush all hopes and dreams of the future, like I said, by just being the
Paragon,
game.
which was kind of supposed to be a shooter MOBA mix, just got nuked. Battleborn got nuked.
But I mean, I think they've created a template though that if a game can come along, and I think, I mean, it draws a line that you need to exceed this to really be that game. So.
Yeah. So here's how you know that PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds has hit peak saturation. My dad, who's 62, just texted me on Messenger showing me hey, this Battlegrounds thing looks pretty cool, because he read about it in Wired.
That's awesome.
That's where that game is at right now.
Wow.
And I mean, I think this is also kind of
Battle Royale could be.
The Battle
you were saying
Royale
there's a new one coming out for Xbox.
So Friday, this game's been on Steam since 2016, I think, but it's the culling, and it's going to be in, what's the game trial for Xbox?
Game preview, I think.
So it hits game preview on Friday, June 2nd, and it is a 16-player battle royale, and I think it's more melee driven than shoot 'em up. So you're going to be using sledgehammers and chainsaws and bungee sticks. So it's like Hunger Games. In this,
yikes!
Cannot wait to buy an Xbox now.
One of my favorite themes, in games and movies and stuff, kind of going back to Manhunt and the Stone Cold Steve Austin movie, The Condemned. But where this game is inspired, it's a game show inspired by television or whatever. It's this idea of these people are thrown into this battle royale, and there's a reason for it, and it's kind of
that's cool,
driven by a director kind of character. I'm not exactly sure.
Well, it's kind of like what's that old story, The Most Dangerous Game? where the people were put on an island and hunt to the death.
Oh, sure.
And the most dangerous game is the human.
Man,
so it's like, yeah, that's kind of that
they're
whole...
surviving the game with iced tea.
I don't know how I missed that.
He's putting on an island, and all these rich people put in money to go hunt him.
Yeah. That's what the most dangerous game is. Yeah, same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I just love that premise. I think it's very interesting.
Right.
And
Well,
Anyway.
good. Yeah.
Want me to read the next question?
It's good stuff. Do it.
Do I get to be the question
Sure,
reader?
why not? Be the question guy. Who does this question come from?
Kevin.
Kevin S. Good man. He's in our Discord channel all the time. He
I have
talks a lot.
not. I
like
forgot.
him a
I did
lot.
not log into Discord at all this weekend.
You should listen to our. You should log into our Discord. There's some
nice guy
good
right
conversation.
here.
Yeah, he's a
He's a
super
very
nice guy.
nice guy.
Have you ever played a game that has made you emotional? Maybe even shed some tears. Get a little wishy-washy?
I need to work on your enunciation and projection, sir. That's okay.
I'm speaking softly.
You can work with him
Because it's an emotional subject, Adam.
Okay.
It does not call for screaming.
Have you ever cried at a game?
No.
Well then,
I'm tough.
You're a soulless, non-emotional human being.
I don't think I have either.
Well, okay.
But
don't worry, guys. I got this one.
But first of all, I know which game he's talking about, and it crushed because he told me like, yeah, it's like something I played this weekend that really hit me hard, and I know exactly what he's talking about, and it's The Last of Us. And
Oh, yeah.
Can we spoil The Last of Us? Like, we can spoil the first 10 minutes of The Last of Us now, right? The game came out 4 years ago. Right?
Yeah.
So The Last of Us.
Spoiler alert! If
Yeah.
not,
If you've not played Last of Us, well, shame on you.
Yeah, skip the next 3 minutes. So
Yeah.
everyone knows that The Last of Us is about a guy and a girl, right?
Uh-huh.
And a little girl that he's taken through the whatever. And that's literally all I knew about it when I started. So when you start The Last of Us and it's you and your little adorable daughter going out, there's some zombie nightmare happens, and so you
Yep.
take your daughter and you're taking her out into the woods and saving her life. I figured this game was about a dad and his little girl.
That's what I thought.
And then your girl gets dead like 10 minutes in, and
Yeah.
it's heartbreaking.
It
is crushing.
heart-wrenching.
Oh my God.
Uh-huh.
So like I know exactly what he's talking about, and I remember that coming up and me just going like, whew, that's a save point. I've had enough for today.
Yep.
Like, holy hell. The other one for me would be Ori and the Blind Forest.
God,
Right? Oh, sorry.
dang
Adam.
it, dude.
he's ripping the emotions right from your.
Stealing my stuff.
But I mean, I agree with, that's.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Like, that. We can spoil Ori, right, too?
Yeah, Ori, because that's so far off people's radar, I think.
Oh, you go play that game. It's
Yeah.
so good, but you're
There's no real spoilers with Ori. It's like, it's just this fairy tale
this
kind
adorable
of thing.
little, I don't know,
Wisp?
spirit fox
wood
creature.
sprite,
I don't
wispy
know.
thing.
And
Yeah.
you one day stumble across this giant.
Lovable thing.
Oh, he's so cute. He's like
And
a
he
big
just
teddy
wants to take
bear.
care of you.
And he gives you little fruits, and then
He dies.
starves to death.
Yep, because he was
Holy-
feeding your fat ass. Just saying.
I just like he died. I'm like, he's gonna be okay, right? He's gonna.
Well,
Why is he not okay?
I mean,
Oh,
but yeah,
crushing.
those were the two
Sorry,
games. That's fine. That's fine. Last of Us, I didn't cry.
I was just like that was like a punch. In
It was
the
just-
gut.
yeah, it was a gut
Like,
punch.
Holy,
Because
crap.
have you played it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But then Ori, it's just.
Yeah.
It's such a good game. Like, and I get emotionally ish when there's the visuals matched with the
Yeah.
music.
Yep.
Like I'm that guy who's the whole thing when it's just perfect. And there were so many perfect scenes in that game between cutscenes or even actually walking around doing your stuff with the music and stuff swelling in just the right place or the little story bits here and there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the funny thing is I was never that watch a movie and like get all choked up and whatever. I had kids or a kid, and like I don't know what it is. Like I don't know if it's like some sort of weird hormonal thing or whatever. Like
yes, because you went through that terrible pregnancy.
I did. It was terrible. But like you have a kid, and all of a sudden, like I watch movies and like stupid like Disney movies, and I'm like, that's
don't even
so
get me started on
beautiful.
Disney.
I watched Pirates of the Caribbean this weekend, and like I won't spoil it. The new one.
Yeah.
And like, there's a part at the end that I'm just like, it's so nice. So movies hit me hard. Games
Does
like
he marry the boat?
he marries the boat and they
Have
sail
you seen
off.
Big Fish?
Yeah. But not for a while.
Made
It's been a
Kevin watch
while.
that last night.
Oh, it's a
and I was
good
like, just so
movie.
you know, I'm going to cry. Really? Yes. I cry.
My
Can't help
mother-in-law like is one of those people that like cries at commercials occasionally. I just like look over and I'm like, are you okay? But yeah, no, movies hit me far harder than video games do, and I don't think it's because movies are better. I think it's just because like I can almost kind of like I can remove myself from the experience of playing games, even though sometimes those things are happening to me or happening to something I'm controlling. Right. I don't lose myself as deep in them. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is, but
what was the character in Final Fantasy VII who died that everybody lost their mind? Sora, not Sora.
No, Sora lives. Girly McGirly.
Yeah, the girl with the flower.
Yeah, pink dress.
She died, and everybody was like, they were like, it's the most heart wrenching thing I've ever seen. Blah blah blah. Well, I'm that guy who doesn't play RPGs long enough to get to that point.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've only played the first 15 minutes of Final Fantasy VII, so I'm like, ooh, that guy's got a gun for an arm. That's pretty cool.
Right.
Real bad hair, Cloud. Sora was from Kingdom Hearts too.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say it's something like that.
It does start with an S. I don't know.
I can't remember.
That was a long time ago.
But it's coming out eventually.
Eventually. Maybe. This year is the 20th anniversary of Final Fantasy VII.
We don't want to talk about that.
Right? It's the day before my 20th wedding anniversary.
We don't want to talk about it.
All right.
Yeah.
There is one game that I didn't cry, but it did affect me multiple times, and it's pretty heavy.
If you say Duck Hunt, I swear to God, I'm slap you.
Flappy Bird.
No.
Made me cry for a lot of other reasons.
Heavy Rain.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing about Heavy Rain is that you have to make all of these choices throughout the game.
Yep.
And they put you in predicaments where it sucks either way.
Yep.
Like, but again, like, because you make choices, you might not end up having the most impactful moments in the game because every choice you make is constantly evolving which characters continue throughout the game and whatnot. But if you want a game that kind of can get you
in the feels.
Really, and then you have to make some quick decisions and those tense moments where you choose. And the theme of the game is something I kind of care deeply about. So
yeah, that's pretty high on my list of games that I have not played yet that I would like to play.
And you can get this on PS4. So
oh, really?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they have. You can download it.
I will look into that.
Yeah, I hear that's really good. And they're the people that are making Detroit, right? And Detroit looks amazing.
And they did Beyond Two Souls.
I haven't heard of that.
Which is the one with like Willem Dafoe and Emma Page. Is that?
Oh,
is
yeah.
Yeah, that game. So I don't think that I heard that one's not as solid of a game, but I want to check it out.
I like William Dafoe a lot. Does that count?
Yeah,
I love Ellen Page.
Oh, too. Yeah, I when you said that, I didn't quite get that.
Ellen Page is awesome.
Yeah, she's real good.
But that's
nice.
That's a good one.
Good
Check
call.
it out.
Good call.
Will do.
Good.
Next question.
Yes.
Next question.
What do you think is the best video game soundtrack?
Ooh, that was fast.
Mm-hmm.
I have opinions. Do you have opinions?
Is this original composed soundtrack or soundtrack?
I don't think it matters because I know where you're going.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that.
Okay. I just want to set that up and get that out there.
For me, I'm going with original composed soundtrack, and I'm saying Ori.
Oh, that soundtrack's good.
Just because it's
real good.
Without the music in Ori, Ori would be a fantastic game, obviously, but without that soundtrack, it wouldn't have the emotional punch that it did.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I've answered this question 45 times because I bring it up myself on this podcast about every other week. Anything by Austin Wintory, but specifically Abzu. But I also really, really, really like the Final Fantasy 6 in the U.S. soundtrack. So Final Fantasy 3 in Japan, Final Fantasy 6 in the U.S. is a really good one. So like both of those. But I listen to soundtracks, video game soundtracks.
Have you heard the Journey soundtrack?
Yes. Yeah, because I will just turn it to the Austin Wintory channel on Spotify and just listen to it for hours.
There's one Abzu song on that. There's one track off that Abzu soundtrack that gets me every time.
I know exactly the soundtrack, and that's how I found out about Abzu. Is I was listening to video game soundtracks, and that came on. I'm like, oh my god, this is really good. What game is this? And Abzu was free on PlayStation Plus.
It was, it's in my library.
It's still free.
Yeah, but by the time they hear this, it will not be. because
Hopefully you grabbed
today's
it.
the 30th. So hopefully you grabbed it because Abzu
But
is...
it comes the first Tuesday of the month.
Oh, I forgot PlayStation. So there is
Yes.
still time to get Abzu. My God, go get it. It's
I just
3
did it
hours,
today.
and it is
I,
so
for some reason,
pretty,
didn't
and the
download those games
soundtrack
yet.
is so good.
So good.
So good. Austin Wintory is a genius.
Now I'm going to download that and play that.
I'm going to
'cause
play
I
it
need to
again, because I played it on my PC the first time, and I really want to play it on my big TV. Yeah, go get Abzu. It's so great. It's
good
so
stuff.
great. But the soundtrack's terrific too. So, but like I said, I literally just like say play video game soundtracks on Spotify, and it'll go for hours. So,
All right,
Dylan.
I think polar opposite to Abzu, I'm
Yes.
guessing, would be Doom.
Oh, yeah.
But damn, the Doom
It's good.
soundtrack's good.
It's good.
Like it's.
I was going to pick that one just because it won the award for best soundtrack, so I was like, meh.
I think Abzu's better, but Doom, like if you're in,
It's a complete 180.
holy crap, but it's so good. It's just like crunch metal. I don't even know what I'd call it.
Yeah, it's just super industrial metal, but I like that can exist in a game. That's why I'm picking this.
And I didn't like Doom's game very much, but the soundtrack was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like these cool like cinematic scores make a lot of sense in video games, and it doesn't seem like there's a lot of room for this kind of soundtrack to exist. So that's why I'm going to pick it for an original soundtrack.
I 100% agree.
I liked it. But as for another soundtrack,
I know where you're going.
I just don't know which
I know
one he's gonna choose.
I know which one you're going to
Which
choose.
one?
You want me to say it?
Yeah.
Vice City.
Yes.
Yeah,
You
that's
got it.
where I would have
I
gone
knew
too.
you were going to Vice
Because
City.
Flock of Seagulls.
No, I was going to say Flock of Seagulls.
Like the trailer with that song just nailed the entire game. You know exactly what's happening in that game. It just creates the atmosphere for
Grand
that.
Theft Auto, like the only complaint I would have about Grand Theft Auto soundtracks is there's just not enough songs in it.
Right.
You're going to play that game for 50, 60 hours. Like eventually you're going to be like, oh God, do I have to hear that song again?
it's like
But
working at a real radio station.
or retail. Retail's
That
way
too.
worse. I remember I worked clothing retail for about 9 months, and I think we got 2 tapes in between there, and they were like corporate mandated. Like,
Well, you just dated yourself.
oh,
Tapes.
oh, well, they were like special tapes too. Well, I'm real old. It's cool. They were like you couldn't. Our tape player wouldn't accept actual cassettes. They were only like these special ones we got from corporate. And so, like, if you were there for, I think they only were like 3 hours long too. So you could always tell how long your day was by when the song repeated for the first time.
Oh, that
it was
sucks.
awful.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Grand Theft Auto soundtracks are on point every single time.
I don't think anyone nailed the era as much as
Grand.
that one.
I 100%
but,
agree.
Yeah, they're all great.
I would say the intro, like it's not a soundtrack really, but the intro to Burnout Paradise is real good with
That
Paradise
guitar
City.
riff of Paradise City is so good.
Yeah, the first 5 minutes of that game are just terrific because of Guns N' Roses. Like you can't say that very often. So
I'm going to give another honorable mention to the Hotline Miami games.
I've not played those yet.
Yeah, I've not played them.
I hear they're good though.
If you like Drive the movie and like that kind of that synthy 80s ish style,
Was Drive good?
I love Drive.
You know, the
never
funny
saw
thing
it.
is like I hate synthy 80s music. Like I really dislike new wave music, but like put it in a video game, I'm like, oh, this is great. This
Right.
works. It's real strange.
But it's like intense,
Yeah.
like driving 80s neon music to just crush skulls too. So I don't know, it works.
It's really strange for me because like I don't like dubstep at all, and like dubstep in video games, I'm like, oh, this makes sense. Or you know, like heavy electronic music, I don't like very much, or industrial music, I don't like very
In a
much.
video game,
but for some
though?
reason, I put it in a video game. I'm like, this is perfect. I don't know why, but it's even perfect outside the video game. Like I don't know if it's just that they're phrased a little bit different, or their length
They
is
do it
different, or the
better.
way they do it is
Somehow it's
different.
better.
But yeah, I would not listen to any of those genres by just like I'm never gonna go like, let's go listen to some Skrillex, you know, like ever. But like,
Well, it's probably because you're pulling in an image or a memory of something
but it's literally
associated
video
to
games
that.
that I've never played that like have a cool dubstep soundtrack. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is great. So I don't know, whatever. Anyway,
All right, let's wrap it up this week with some cheap free games before we get to our troll corner. PS Plus games possibly leaked, not confirmed, but it's probably likely.
yeah, they came out on Turkish
On a
PlayStation
Turkish
Twitter. And I'm excited about
Who
this,
check?
too.
Who's checking the Turkish
You don't-
PlayStation
you don't-
Twitter?
You don't, our Twitter account, of course, follows Turkish Twitter.
Really?
No, of course not.
I'm like,
it would just come up. I'd be like, I don't speak this Turkish.
Somebody asked me a question over the weekend, and it was the answer to this question was very apparently right there in front of my face, but I wasn't getting it, and everybody's looking at me like I'm crazy. I realized I've been watching like Golden Girls back to back to back to back to back
because it's a great show.
Yeah, and I'm becoming Rose.
Thank you for being a friend.
Yeah, but I'm becoming very, very slow at picking up on the very obvious things. So
I see you as more of a Blanche. I think that's a compliment. I'm not sure.
I'll take it.
Sure. I'm not sure. Am I Dorothy?
No.
I don't
I'm
know. I'm
lost.
You don't watch Golden Girls ever?
He's like 11. Come on.
All right, let's get back to this because we could talk about that forever.
It's a great show, though.
Couple of games leaked for the PS Plus, according to Turkish Twitter. Killing Floor 2, which I've heard lots of good stuff about.
I've heard it's a solid game.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think there's a lot of depth to it, but it's a solid shooter.
Nothing wrong with.
Yeah, I think I actually own it for the PC.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
I think I do.
Let's see. GameSpot gave it an 8.
Yeah, it did all right.
Yeah, good enough.
Another one is Life is Strange.
Which is a game I've always wanted to play.
Me too.
Just never.
I literally have almost pulled the trigger on Life is Strange. I have. It's episodic, and I have the first episode, and I've almost pulled the trigger on the complete things probably 4 or 5 times. Like, it's gone on sale, and I'm like, oh, I should get that. Ooh, I should get that. And I just never have done it. So, hey, yay, it's free now.
I hope this is real life.
What is this about?
I believe it's actually kind of a, like, narrative adventure kind of thing from everything I've heard. So, like, I'm down.
Oh, interesting. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, so there's that. Another Humble Bundle.
Yes.
That we get to talk about.
Yeah, I might buy this one. I already own a lot of the games in it, so I haven't decided yet. But it's,
I think I own one.
So, like, if you don't know, Adult Swim, like the folks who do Cartoon Network, are a game publisher too. And they make some pretty good games. Like, you may have heard me talk about Rise and Shine. That was an Adult Swim game. Like, obviously not made by them, but just published by them. Yeah, Rise and Shine.
Really?
Yeah, is an Adult Swim game.
I did not know that.
Headlander, even though it's made by Double Fine, was published by Adult Swim. Rain World, that weird cat slug game that came out. Slug cat game. Oh, sorry. That's very. There's a big difference between a cat slug and a slug cat.
Big difference.
Big difference. Was a Adult Swim game. So if you want, first of all, hop on this soon because the first tier is okay. I've heard Volgar is good. I already own the Wesrado game, so I don't know. I might pick it up I'll probably pick it up at the more than average. Well, maybe not. I don't know. This one, like I said, there's some games in it that I already own. I don't know if I want to pay $12 for them, but Rise and Shine. It was way too hard, but it's totally worth paying right now. $721 to unlock. I've heard Headlander's fantastic, but I already own it. So, whatever. But these games, like, go in and buy the dollar tier. Pay for what you want. Pay $1 for 4 games. Like, you can't lose. So, but the $12 tier includes Rain World, which came out month and a half ago, and it was $20. So I didn't like it at all, but maybe other people will. And when my brother was out here, I'm like, you're way better at video games than I am. Why don't you try this and tell me if it's bad? And he played for about 20 minutes. He's like, yeah, this is bad. So, is what it is.
Cool.
Frog Fractions 2 is supposed to be real strange and has like some sort of weird ARG around it, and they keep hiding. The first one was hidden in the game, and there's some really weird stuff with that, so that might be fun too. But
all right.
Humble Bundles, just keep your eye on them. There's so many good ones.
Yeah, there's good stuff.
There's always good ones. I like it.
All right. Well, that's that for all the news and games and stuff and things.
And actually, while we're talking about Humble Bundle, sorry, we're going to go back. The Game On Bundle is awesome, too. It has Worms and 80 Days and Her Story at the dollar tier, which is amazing. And then Grim Fandango, The Stanley Parable, the Stanley Parable is absolutely hilarious if you've never played it. It's only good for maybe 45 minutes worth of gaming, but it's absolutely incredible. And then Borderlands, the pre-sequel, and Day of the Tentacles for $10. Like, spend $10. You'll be real happy.
See, and I won't have to spend $10 because I've got both of those.
Yeah, I already
already
own I didn't buy this bundle because I already own probably 80% of it, which I mean is a pretty good recommendation for whether or not you should buy a bundle. Spend $10 and get some great games.
Huh.
Anyway,
that's cool.
Yeah,
sweet. All right, let's wrap it up this week with Troll Corner. We missed it last week, but this week it's back.
Yay!
And whose idea was this? Who's Troll Corner?
Mine.
Is it yours?
But I think, we might all have something. We might all feel similarly about this. I don't know.
We might.
Well, I wasn't around this weekend on Memorial Day, which is pretty known as go outside weekend.
Oh, I stayed inside the whole weekend.
For a lot of people, this is the first camping weekend of the year.
That's why I
for
stayed
people
inside.
who like doing things like that. But there was a game I really wanted to play, and that was ARMS.
Mm-hmm.
So my troll this week is Nintendo's global test. Insert relevant verb here.
Yeah.
So like the Splatoon global test fires, the ARMS global test punch. These silly names, but.
Why? What's wrong with that?
I hate the name of it. It's just so dumb.
Come on.
Either way, the name is silly, but
I think it's great.
More importantly, you can play this game this weekend for 1 hour time slots from random times.
Yeah.
And if you're not around or if you're driving home in traffic, you can't play this.
3 of them if you're in Pacific time, 3 of them were at 5 a.m. No, 2 of them were at 5 a.m.
Yeah. So
So, and that's where I agree with people who are like, "Oh, stupid Nintendo," because it's like you've got this huge game coming out that it needs to be huge.
Yeah.
And you're doing a test to make sure everything's up and running and is going to be good and go flawlessly, but you're only giving us 1 hour increments to try it out, and it's also sporadic over a holiday weekend.
I understand why they did the 1 hour increments.
Why?
Because what they're trying to do, they don't care whether you want to play this game. They're not testing the game. They're testing the back end of this game. And so what they want to make sure is, hey, we've got 10,000 people that want to play this, right? We want all 10,000 of those to be online at one time, not 10,000 people spread across 24 hours.
Right.
And so they need the hour increments to push the back end servers.
They can't just open it up and let it go.
Well, I think the problem is you'd have, instead of 10,000 people in 1 hour, you'd have 10,000 people over 24 hours. And so it just may not push it hard enough to push for a good launch day. But I mean, really my problem with this is that it didn't even run on Memorial Day, did it?
I thought it ran all 3 days.
No, it ran through Sunday.
Oh, really?
So it ran, the times for these were really dumb. It was Friday at 5 p.m. And so, I mean,
I'm driving home.
Yeah, part of this is we're Pacific time. So these were really, really, these are way better if you're East Coast time, probably. Mm-hmm. Because they were.
Yeah, because it'd be 8 in the evening.
Yeah, 8 in the evening. Or, the 5 o'clock one for us was 8 in the morning for East Coast. But being Pacific time, which is, reminder where Nintendo is headquartered, 5 p.m. on Friday, 5 a.m., 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. on Saturday, 5 a.m. and 11 a.m. on Sunday. No 5 p.m. one on Sunday, none on Memorial Day at all.
No evenings.
Yeah. And so literally I missed it on Sunday. I'm like, oh, that's fine. I'll catch one tomorrow on Memorial Day. And I look at the schedule. I'm like, oh. Or not. But I guess the good news is they're doing these next weekend too. So June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, you can catch them on the same ridiculous schedule. 5 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m.
I think there are going to be
5
different
p.m.
games too. So you can play the basketball minigame.
Oh, sure.
So they're testing different game modes. But
I mean, the plus side is I heard it's great. People that played it really liked it.
It's I'm really excited for this game too. And I just want to try it out for an hour.
Yeah.
But next weekend, I don't think I'm going to be able to do it either. So
yeah, having 6 slots and having 2 of them. I mean, I wake up early on the weekends, but not at 5 a.m.
I'm just going to have to stay up.
Yeah, I'll try and I'm going to try and catch the 11 a.m. Pacific time one, and I'll record a little video. Or maybe I'll even live stream it.
I'll try that new tequila diet.
There you go.
And stay up till 5 a.m.
Yeah. No, that's the reality. Those times are just terrible. Yeah. I've got to think there was. If you're trying to get people online, I've got to think there's better times, unless they were also trying to figure overseas. I thought these were North America only, though. So to cut out, maybe they were European too. I don't know. But either way, ugh. That's what I say.
Well,
trolls.
With that. What? Yeah, we've got a Discord channel. If you're not in there, make sure you jump on.
It's real fun.
Yeah.
It sounds dumb, but it's great to talk to you folk, and it's
to you folk.
The sucky thing is if you hit us on Twitter or you hit us on Facebook Messenger, you're talking to one of us. It could be me, it could be Adam, could be Dylan. You just won't know. And sometimes I lie.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Okay, that doesn't.
You just made my voice crack.
I've never lied much.
I've never lied twice in a row.
There you go. But in this, we actually all have names.
Yeah,
so
we do. You
you'll
can see
know
exactly
who
you're talking to.
But it's fun. We talk about games. We talk about stuff that isn't games. I mean, we all have real lives too. So
That's sometimes interesting.
Yeah. So come in and make friends with us. It's a good time.
And you can find that on our Facebook page, which is Byte Me Podcast. You have Twitter's, Byte Me Podcast, ByteMePodcast.com. And we also have our YouTubes.
Yeah.
And Twitch.
If you can't find it, email us at ByteMePodcast.com. I'll send you the link to it.
Oh, you're so nice.
I know, right?
Such a nice person.
Bow.
Yeah, our DMs are open on Twitter, so you can DM us if you want to.
We won't fax it to you.
We will. I won't fax.
I'll send carrier pigeon.
There you go.
Why not?
Yeah,
we'll see if he makes it.
It's 1912.
It's good.
Bye now.
Bite me.
No.